Tom Ferry Show. Today, we're going to answer the question, what should you be posting on social to build trust and get yourself on the consideration set of the largest number of buyers and sellers in your market? So welcome to the show. We're going to talk about today 5 things you could be posting thematically every single week and month to get your voice out there and get on the largest consideration set of more buyers and more sellers in your area. So let's go through it together. Number 1 is to show the real you. So I hope you wrote that down, because what I'm looking for is you being you. So I wrote down, it's with your family, it's travel, I know, it's hobbies, it's passion projects, it's charities, and it's you being humorous, just being yourself. I got to give you an example. So I send this bottle, yes, I'm a part of this company, to one of our clients, Jeremy James, who we had a conversation, he needed some help, and I gave him some coaching, and he told me, I'm a huge bourbon aficionado, and I said, I'm a part of a bourbon company, and as a gift, I sent it to him. Well, guess what he did? He took a passion project. He loves bourbon. He went and grabbed another gal and said, hey, you're a bourbon aficionado, let's go ahead and do a show on this bourbon, and they did a little tasting, and they gave it a nice rating, which was awesome. That's not my point. What he did is he showed the real Jeremy. Yeah, he's a great real estate agent. Yeah, he's a great dad. Yeah, he's a great husband. But he also has this passion project. And guess what? He sold the most expensive home of the year because one person called and said, hey, I saw that. You like bourbon. I like bourbon. Bam, $349,000 sale. Here's my point. When I talk about you showing the real you, it's not bourbon or coffee or beer, or maybe it is. Maybe it's the fact that you have a Vizsla dog, right? And someone else goes, you got a Vizsla dog? I got a Vizsla dog. My point to you is by showing the real you, the soft side, the fun side, the goofy side, the interesting side, the charitable side, the praise side of you, everything, you know what you do? You connect with people in the most relatable way possible. Remember, people want to do business with people they feel are just like them. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you've got to show the side of you that's the knowledge broker. The note I wrote down is you and I both know consumers want to hire experts, right? People that really know the business, really understand the transaction, really understand the market. So I wrote down, you need to be sharing concise, educational content with people en masse. Think about it like this. There's basically 2 different types of buyers and sellers today, right? They're either in the research phase or they're in the ready phase. The research buyer or seller, what are they doing? They're going online, they want their questions answered, they want to understand, should I be in this neighborhood, that neighborhood? What does it mean to do this? What about loans? I've never bought a house before, what do I need to understand? Or I'm selling my 5th house, what do I need to know today that's different? My note for you is, if you took the time to say to yourself, I've been selling real estate for 4 days or 40 years, what are all the things I've learned about the business? As an example, what if I said to you, what are the 15 or 20 things that every buyer in your city needs to know and understand before they write an offer? What are the things they need to understand when they open escrow or become a pending sale? What are the mistakes to avoid? See, if you took the time to say, hey, mistake number 14 in buying a home is don't go buy a car after opening escrow. I know it sounds funny, but let me explain. You see, what happens is you play into the research phase buyer, the research phase seller who's looking for information. And you know what you're really doing? You're separating yourself from the competition and you're becoming the person that they trust, the one that they want to do business with, and then refer everyone they know. So when people say to me, what kind of content should I be putting out? I've been saying since 2007, you've got to show that you're the knowledge broker. The second thing I wrote down under that same point is, if here we are in 2020 and you're a real estate professional and you're not once a week at the minimum saying, hey, I want to give you an update on what's happening right here in Newport Beach, California. In the last week, we had this many new listings come on the market, we had this many new go under pending, and we had this many close. The average list price was this much per square foot, the average pending price was this much per square foot, and the actual closing was this much per square foot. And I want to talk about one community today here where we're seeing the most action. The agent that takes the time, like a weekly news show, to be the educator, to be the one that tells me everything I need to know about homes and values, specifically relating to real estate in my area, that agent not only wins over their head, but their heart, but ultimately their wallet and their decision-making process. So that's number 2. Number 3, I want you to show your understanding of the local market. Now, we just talked about real estate. Now I'm going a different direction. This is where you take the time to go interview the local restaurant owners. I was at dinner 2 nights ago in the alley in Corona Del Mar because we can't sit inside the restaurant. And I thought, if I was an agent right now, I'd be over there interviewing Soto and saying, hey, so how are you guys doing it? How are people responding to this? Are you doing it safely? What's working, what's not? And you interview the local business owner, the restaurant, the politician, the small businesses, the people that are experiencing this incredibly insane economy the way you and I are experiencing it, from the trenches, from the streets. But I also wrote down, you could also be going into local parks and saying, hey, this park's extraordinary and here's why, or here's the greatest architecture in our town, building X and building Y. The person that takes the time to thoughtfully curate what's interesting, what's unique, what's different, who's doing something great, who's making an impact, who has a voice in your town, you know what? Now it's not just on you, you're showcasing everything about your town. And you know what that does? That puts you right in the center of it. So that's number 3. Let's go to number 4. I wrote down, yes, you gotta have some social proof, AKA, here's my new listing, here's my recent sale, here's a testimonial, here's a review from a client, right? Here's what's happening on the transaction side of my business. Now notice, I talked about the market, I talked about the local community, I showed the fact that I like bourbon, right? Now all of a sudden, people are starting to say, gosh, you know what? I see you everywhere. And if you're like me, you're gonna put this on Instagram, Facebook, you're gonna put it, maybe some on your LinkedIn, maybe you'll tweet it out if that's what you're into. If it's a great photo, maybe you'll put it on Pinterest. The point is, we need to be creating this content every single day. So more and more people are saying, I see you everywhere. Or you get the phone call saying, hey, you know what? You like that bourbon? I like that bourbon, right? Let's do some business together. And you might say, that just sounds crazy. But you and I both know, right? Before I share this the last slide, I want to stress to you, people do business with people that they feel are just like them. So the more you show them your love for your city, the more you show your local knowledge, the more you introduce them to, like, I love that restaurant. Hey, I know that dog park, right? And they make that association and connection with you. That's a positive. Does that make sense? So show your local proof, show your sales success. Maybe at the end of every closing, maybe you just stop and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would you mind sharing what was the experience like in working with me? And could you imagine if you just took the time to do that? And the seller says, well, gosh, not only, Tristan, did you do it safely, we felt secure the entire time, we never had any fear and anxiety, and you were able to get us 17 offers and you sold us for the highest price, and we're thrilled with you. That goes out on social. That's better than any advertising you could ever do. Do the same thing with buyers, do the same thing with renters, do the same thing with investors. Keep showing them that you're active and good at what you do. And then the last one I wrote down, obviously, behind the scenes. So, we have a lot of clients that have done these television shows in real estate, fix and flip and all this other fun stuff. Big shout out to Jesse and everybody else out there, right? Here's the point. What do we love about that? We get to see the behind the scenes, the nitty gritty time that you're spending inside the business. I would challenge you that if you're not, for example, showing, hey, I got up early and went to the gym, right? Because that's something you're into. Or I'm walking my dog because that's something you're into. Or I just, prayed or meditated. Showing the behind the scenes of your life as you prepare for the day. And then as you race through your day, checking in and saying, hey guys, just walked out of a listing appointment, met this fabulous couple. They're trying to figure out if this is the right time for them to sell. I actually ended up talking them out of it. Yes, I would say that, because you know what that tells customers about you? That you're not just some salesperson trying to slam another deal and do another deal, but you're like, I actually talked them out of it because I think that they should wait. And it's not because the market isn't robust and right, but their timing is off. And if they take the time and follow my advice and do everything I said to fix up the house, which is going to take some time, they'll actually sell for infinitely more. So just checking in, another day in the life of a busy real estate agent right here in Toledo. Boom, video's over. The more you show people the late nights, the early mornings, the stressful situations, I got 17 offers to go through to present these to my seller, right? You show that, and you show not only just the stress, but the eustress. Do you know that word? eustress? Eustress? It's the positive stress that we deal with every single day. You know what, once again, what happens? You just become relatable. That's my point. Now, as we wrap it up, I wrote down for you the following. 2 ways you can look at this content. You can say, okay, wait a minute. When do I do it? Do I do 1 per day? Do I do 2 per day? Do I make this list of the 5 different categories and just leave it in my car? Do I put it as the screen of my phone? So every time I grab my phone, I see it. Oh, that's right. I got to do it behind the scenes today. I got to do how's the market. I got to interview somebody local. That's one way. Or I wrote down, you do what we do. You create a content calendar for the month. And you say, well, I know I want to do 4 How's the Market shows. Got to do one of those every week. Maybe I'll do those on Monday. I got to do a About Town showing my sort of understanding of the local city. Let's do one of those once a week. That's a good idea. Maybe a local business on display. I do that once a week. Well, all of a sudden now you're like, hey, I got 3 original pieces of content that I can do from my phone in a photo or in a video or with a camera like this. And the next thing you know, you're in the game. Keep it simple. Don't get overwhelmed by it. You've seen me on Instagram. Some days I've got 30 things I post inside my stories, and sometimes it's 4 or 5, right? The key is I'm constantly paying attention to what's important to you and trying to do my best to synthesize that and bring it back to you through social. Do the same for your clients and your future clients, and I promise you, you're going to win. So, I can't wait to see your comments. Let me know what you think. Remember, always your strategy matters, and now more than ever, your ability to put out the right content is what rules the day.